I watched both Love Life and Love Life Sunshine as they aired, but for some reason I never bothered to watch the movies. The same can be said for the newer two entries, Nishigasaki and Superstar, but that is something I'm about to rectify in a different topic altogether. I now sat down and watched both movies back to back, so which one is better in my opinion? Well, let me answer that question for you. The story of both movies plays out quite similarly, in a way almost like, yeah, you can copy my homework, but change a few things so that isn't too noticeable. Both are focusing on what happened after Love Life, when the third years are graduating. They feature a trip abroad, have a childhood memory that slightly plays out in the end, and then have a final performance. Where the two movies differ is essentially the dilemma that the two groups are facing. Muse already came to terms with quitting once the third years are gone, but this resolve gets challenged as everybody wants them to continue, for the school, for Love Life, and for the fans. Aqours wants to continue, but the remaining members have not yet come to terms with the third years leaving, and this is on top of them merging with a new school, where the parents of the existing students don't want them to attend the same clubs because they fear that it impacts their performance somehow. Now, this is pretty dumb in my opinion, but I also have no experience with Japanese schools or helicopter parents, so maybe that's normal. This is already a point where I like one movie over the other, because Aqua's struggle feels more down to earth. Sure, Muse's struggle does carry more weight, but the other one feels more realistic. This gets exasperated in the trip abroad segment. For Muse, this is some sort of promotional event for Love Life, so that it can be held at the Tokyo Dome. Mind you, they never really show them interacting with anybody, no TV stations, no radio stations. There's just like an awkwardly faded in music video that then fades out to them being on the plane already back home. And once they finally arrive back home, they are more famous than ever, to the point where they are forming lines in the airport for autographs. I do think that this is dumb, but I also understand that this is done so that they have more pressure to continue on as Muse. Also, there's nothing preventing them from becoming actual idols. They act like the third years are succumbing to some deadly illness by the end of the movie. I mean, the previous Love Life winners also signed a contract. For Aqours, the trip feels kinda shoehorned in, but it is there so that the remaining 6 members can come to terms with everything and gain a new resolve. And this is on top of the 3 seniors going missing, more like hiding from the mother who is against the entire school idol stuff. But this doesn't matter too much anyways, because they are graduating in a couple of months. It just feels a bit contrived. That being said, it still feels a little bit more normal than them becoming mega famous and now having the entire world on their shoulders. Both movies then conclude in the final performance. Everything is clear, everything is settled, there's just one final big bang left. In this instance, I do like both movies about equally. Muse is now using their fame to put on a big performance with every school idol group in the country, showing that Love Life isn't just about them, but about every idol participating in it. It is a nice conclusion, and a great way to send off this legendary group. Aqours' performance is more about showing the new school that they aren't slackers, and by the end of it, even the new students come around and help them to make that happen. These are not masterpieces of storytelling, and they certainly did not have to make the same movie almost twice. But they can stand on their own and are a nice send-off for both shows, respectively. Of course, these two movies are years apart and thus have a huge gap in their quality. Love Life always had an interesting blend of 2D and CGI equally, but you can just tell that they improved in every way in Sunshine. Not only is the quality higher and more refined, but they were also able to make it feel just more lively. Muse's performances always feel so devoid of humans and almost like a dream. Aqours, on the other hand, feel like actual live performances to some degree. But that is not all. Of course, the original cast of Love Life is more iconic and they won't be forgotten so fast. But everyone and everything in Sunshine just feels cleaner and shinier. From the casual to the stage outfits, from the locations to the characters, Sunshine just one-upped everything ever so slightly. When it comes to the music, it is hard to decide which one of the two is better. I had fun with both of those, but I did appreciate the slightly greater variety in Love Life Sunshine a little bit more. Funnily enough, my favorite performance wasn't even by Muse or by Aqours, it was by the duo Saint Snow, which just appealed to my general taste in music a little bit more. I do, however, have to slightly criticize the final performance by Muse with all of the idols surrounding them. I at least expected them to have a little bit of a choir with all of the idols there, but there was nothing. Instead, this grand, this isn't about Muse, this is about school idols, turned into them having just a huge army of backup dancers rather than a group singing together. Other than that, I don't have much to criticize. Maybe that not all songs flowed as nicely from scene to music video to scene, but that's about it. So in the end, I like the Sunshine movie a little bit better. I just think that the flow of the movie is more consistent and feels a little bit more natural. The gags were a little bit funnier, and the music appealed more to me. But in the end, I can say that both movies are a great send-off to both groups. If you like Love Life and somehow like me didn't watch the movies, then I can tell you, watch them, they are worth it. And if you for some reason have watched this video without ever having watched Love Life before, then I can tell you, at least Muse's journey is mandatory for every anime fan out there.